Hello everyone, let's see JavaScript questions. JavaScript variables. So variables are containers for storing a data. We can declare a variables using var, let and const in JavaScript. So var, let and const are used to declare variables in JavaScript, but they have behave differently in terms of scope, redeclaration and reassignment. So var is a function scope and can be redeclared and then reassigned. Let is a block scoped, and while it can be reassigned, it cannot be redeclared within the same block. Const is a block scope, cannot be redeclared, and its value cannot be reassigned. This is the difference between var, let and const. Let's see the hoisting in JavaScript. Hoisting in JavaScript behavior of moving a variable on the function declaration to the top of their scope during the compile phase before the code has been executed. So hoisting allows you to use variables and function before they are declared in the code, but with some important rules and limitations. So how it works means variables declared with var are hoisted to the top of the function and initialized with undefined. Variables declared with let and const are hoisted but not accessible until they are initialized. They enter a temporal dead zone. So function declarations are hoisted entirely, including their implementations. Let's see the statically vs dynamically typed languages. Statically typed languages means type checking are done at a compile time. So types are checked before the program runs, usually at the compile time. This means type errors are caught early, often before the code is executed. Whereas dynamically typed languages means types are checked while the program is running. This means type errors can only be detected during the execution, not before. And then implicit type declaration. Variables do not require explicit type declaration here. The type is inferred from the assigned value. Let's see the JavaScript functions. JavaScript function is a block of code which is designed to perform a specific task. It can take inputs as a parameters and process them, and it will return an output when you call the function. So functions are essential in JavaScript for code reuse, organizing the code and making it modular. This helps the reduce repetition and improve maintainability. So how it works means you define a function using the function keyword. Once defined, you can call the function whenever needed. Let's see the JavaScript classes. A JavaScript class is a blueprint for creating objects. It defines the properties and methods that the objects created from the class will have. And then why it is needed means class provide a clean and structured way to create a multiple objects with shared behaviors. They allow for better code reuse. And then class are defined using the class keyword, and they typically have a constructor method to initialize the properties. You can create an object by using the new keyword. And then JavaScript objects is a collection of key value pairs, which is properties and method. It is used to store the related data and functions. Why it is needed means objects are a core part of a JavaScript. They allow us to create, they allow us to group related data and functionality, making the code easier to understand. So objects can be created using the object literals or constructors. Properties can be accessed using the dot notation or bracket notations. Let's see what is DOM. DOM is a document object model, represents the structure of the HTML document as a tree of objects. So it allows the programming languages like JavaScript to manipulate the content and the style of a document. So how DOM is created means when a web page is loaded, the browser passes the HTML file and constructs the DOM. How JavaScript uses the DOM means JavaScript can interact with and modify the DOM to dynamically update the content on the page. So without needing to reload it, you can add, delete or modify elements and then content using this DOM. Why the DOM is important? Means DOM is crucial for creating the dynamic web pages, allowing developers to change the content structure and styling based on the user interactions. CRUD operations of the DOM is like you can create, read, update, and delete elements in the HTML document using JavaScript. So DOM manipulation is central to creating interactive and dynamic web pages. With JavaScript, we can modify the content and structure of the page without reloading it. So we can create element using the methods create element to add a new elements in a DOM, and then use how can we read it means using methods like get element by id to access the existing elements, using methods like text content or a set attribute to change the element properties, and so we can remove the elements like using remove child. Let's see the call, apply, and bind. Call method is a predefined JavaScript method. With call method, an object can use a method belonging to another object. It can be used to invoke a call method with an owner object as an argument. Difference between the call apply means call method takes the arguments separately and apply method takes the argument as an array. So apply method is very handy if you want to use an array instead of an argument list. So bind method, with the bind method an object can borrow a method from another object. For example, here is a two object person and member. Member object borrows the full name method from the person object. So what is closure means? It is a function having access to the parent scope even after the parent function has closed. Callbacks is a function passed as an argument to another function. This technique allows a function to call another function. A callback function can run after another function has finished. So what is promise means? It has a producing code and consuming code. Producing code is a code that can take some time. Consuming code is a code that must wait for the result. A promise is an object that links the producing code and then consuming code. It is called a promise. Asynchronous and synchronous. Asynchronous means it will happen together, one after the another, sequentially. Only one thing is only one thing is happening at a time is called synchronous, whereas asynchronous is opposite to the synchronous, happens in a parallel. So JavaScript async means async and await makes the promises easier to write. Async makes a function, returns a promise. Await makes a function that is wait for a promise.